Today we will create a painting inspired by a teacher that we have had. Think about a teacher who has taught you things and made you feel loved or happy or excited about being at school. I have created 4 paintings inspired by teachers that have shown me and taught me many things. As you start to create, start by thinking of the way that person or teacher makes you feel. If they make you feel happy, you can draw things that they do to make you feel happy, or maybe you will draw a happy face. Once you choose something that you want to draw, you can repeat it or make a pattern. And you want to do this around the outside edge of the paper, because after we finish this painting and drawing using crayons and watercolor paints, we will be adding a portrait in the middle. So you want to do more of your designs around the outside edge. Now I'm starting to draw books that are stacked up and books that are open, because one of my favorite teachers was a teacher named Mrs. Oldry. She was my 2nd and 3rd grade teacher and my librarian. And when I started teaching a long time ago, I got to work at the same school as Mrs. Oldry. She was a teacher who got me excited about reading and made me feel happy and good when I was at school. So I'm drawing happy faces and books to remind me of how Mrs. Oldry made me feel and how she got me excited to be a reader when I was in elementary school. I'm making a pattern of colors to create my bookshelf that is going behind Mrs. Oldry's name. Make sure that you spell this teacher's name correctly, and make it nice and big on your paper. Now I'm adding hearts because she always made me feel good and loved. Another teacher that I had was Mr. Gailey. He was also my coach. He also helped me out when I was learning about basketball and track. So I'm drawing basketballs and the lines and numbers of a track using crayons, and I'm using my crayons to outline and color things in, and later we can add watercolor paints as well. Mr. Gailey always made me and everyone around him feel like they were learning and that they were loved, and he was also my FCA leader. So I'm adding some patterns to go along with things that I think of when I think of him. Another teacher that I have learned a lot from is Mrs. Kipe, in getting to work with her. She is our tech time teacher, so I'm going to draw some iPads to show how and what I have learned with this teacher. She is a very good helper. She's helpful to everyone with their iPads, and she's always helpful to me anytime I need anything. So I'm drawing helping hands with the heart. And the other thing I love about Mrs. Kipe is she is always so exciting and fun. So I made some smiley faces with their tongues sticking out. And I'm pushing really hard when I'm using my crayons to color things in, so that later when we paint, the crayons will resist the paint. You can also add lines and designs that represent how this person makes you feel or their personality. I said Mrs. Kipe is fun and silly and has lots of energy, so I drew some wiggly lines that are green to show that, because one of her favorite colors is green. After we have used crayons, we will then get to use watercolor paints. You can paint over your crayon lines because the crayons resist the paint. Because Mrs. Kipe has so much energy and is so much fun, I'm outlining some things with orange, because when I think of energy, I think of orange, and then all of the rest I'm going to fill in with green, because when I think of Mrs. Kipe, sometimes I just think of the color green. So when you add colors, think of how that teacher makes you feel and what color shows that feeling. For Mrs. Oldry, the schools that we worked together in had the color red in them, so I started with the color red, and then I just have lots of happy memories with her, and when I think of happiness, I think of the color yellow. So think of whatever color comes to mind when you think of that teacher and use that to fill the entire paper with color and watercolor paints. Whenever you are painting with watercolor paints, make sure you touch into the water and swirl 10 times into the paint. You are welcome to mix paints on your paper. Mr. Gailey was a teacher that was a coach as well, so I thought of our school colors, red, white, and blue. So I did a lot of blue for my background painting carefully around some things, but also over them. Then I used black to fill in the area that had the track. And I actually wrote the numbers on the track in white, and you can see them as that paint dries. And lastly, I'm adding my red for my school colors. And I added a little bit of red with his name and then over the basketballs to make them a little bit brighter. Oh, one last teacher that I look up to is Miss Buffalo. She was another teacher that I got to work with and one of my very best friends. One great memory that I have of her is she loved to give out treats and snacks, specifically Pringles, to her students. So I drew some Pringle cans. She was always so loving and kind, so I made a pattern with hearts and a design with hearts around the outside, and then I decided to create a pencil that was drawing all around the paper to make this background super creative for Miss Buffalo. And then I colored a few things in with crayons, pressing nice and hard for good craftsmanship. And then the last step is to fill the paper with color, and I decided to try a polka dot pattern just because it just reminds me of Miss Buffalo's peppy and exciting energy. The polka dots just seem super happy, and it's also in a rainbow design as well as lots of extra yellow because again, yellow means happy, and she is a teacher that makes everybody happy. All right, so decide on a teacher. Think about things that they teach you, how they make you feel, the things that they do, colors, designs, and shapes of things that you can draw to represent that awesome teacher. Good luck.